All right, so we're back with another pre-season diaries. Today's session started at about 3 o'clock, went to about 5 o'clock. You can see that there were a bunch of players not training. Degoe and Mitchell did come out at the start. They did a couple of runs. They were kicking the ball. You can see Mitchell here, but then they went back inside. They weren't really out there for long. They're both in runners. But it was nice to see Degoe back out there. It would be a week since that injury or since that knock, bone bruising, whatever they're sort of saying now. So it was nice to see them out there, but yeah, they went straight back inside. The session started off with just some classical conditioning and drills and stuff like that. Sometimes it was full ground like this, or quarter of the ground, third of the ground. And then you'll see a little bit later what I what I liked about this session is that there were players in positions that they don't generally go through. So you'll see coming up in a little bit some ruck work, some rover work, where players that aren't usually rovers were roving, and it was actually really fun to see. So I don't know, this sort of changed it up a little bit in this session, and I really, really liked it. So this is the one I'm talking about here. So I stayed in this spot until all the groups sort of came through. So you'll see a bunch of different players in the same spot. They were doing other drills around, but I was really close to this, and I really liked how this one was going. You see Membry, he roves. I don't think he roves in this specific one. But, you've got like Lockie Schultz in there. TJ was in there. Darcy Cameron is just doing heaps, right? He's doing absolutely phenomenal. Iluru Smith is learning from him, which is great to see as well. Obviously, there was no Mason Cox, so Smith and Steen were sort of taking the rucks during match simulation and these sort of drills.
15.
So you'll see Pendlebury here as well. I don't know, it was a bit weird because he wasn't in the rehab group or anything, but about halfway through the session, they kind of just stopped him and he didn't do any more drills. He didn't even do the match simulation or anything like that. So he did about, yeah, half the training session, and then we're kicking the ball to the players. You see him just in the corner up there. And then that was about it. He went inside, and I don't know if it was, there were people visiting, so I don't know if he had a speaking role, or I don't know what was going on. But yeah, he only trained about half the session. Something else you'll notice, and I know a lot of people are going to love this, and a lot of people won't care, but those are new training jumpers. Everyone's jumper was bright as hell, as bright as black can be, but the white was just stark white. Everyone's got their numbers on. Obviously, some of the players weren't wearing their numbers. Josh Dakers was in the 35, which was nice to see. Nick Dakers was in 5, but Harry Perryman finally had his 12 on his back. You see a little bit of Dan McStay doing the ruck work there. At the match simulation towards the end of the game, end of the session, he was doing majority of the ruck work as well. I know I've said this before, but I was pretty, not harsh on Oscar Steen, but I said, he needed to show a little bit more. And over the last month or two, he has just come up in strides. I always said Iluru Smith was
So good.
ahead of him by a fair bit. Now I think they're on even peggings. I love the ruck work that he was doing, his second efforts as well. Chucking him, look, that tap, if it was going to it's gone to a Collingwood player in general. But yeah, he did really well. I've been really pleased with his progress. Can't wait to see how he translates that against opposition into the VFL.
Yeah, long shot, but then going.
You'll see here just some guys rehabbing. Charlie Dean with a busted nose. Finn McRae, not sure what's going on there. I can't remember if Finn did any drills. I don't think he did. So yeah, they're protecting him for some reason. Reef McInnes as well. He completed most of the drills, but he didn't do the match simulation, which I'm spewing. It's that lingering concussion sort of issue. Or whatever it may be. We don't really know, so I'm not going to sort of assume that it is a lingering concussion, whatever it may be. But they just don't want him in contact, which I'm spewing about because I do want to see him in that match sim, in the defense, going up against the big guys. But, fingers crossed we see that against Richmond in a couple of weeks. Sorry, not Richmond. Gold Coast and Brisbane in a couple of weeks. So here was just some scenario-based training. This is where Pendles stopped training. So he was just kicking the ball into forward 50. And this was the last sort of input he had on today's session. Yeah, again, just bang it in long and try and kick a goal out of it. Ooh, players were flying all over each other. But Darcy Moore was back to his best. I don't think I got any footage of Darcy Moore taking flying intercept marks. But he was doing that. It was really good to see. McStay and Membry were phenomenal in that drill as well. This is just the other group. I didn't venture over to that side. Really just stood on this side of the 50. You'll see Joel Cochran in the top left going off. Not sure what happened there, but he does walk off a little bit.
Bang.
Good, TJ. Get it. Go, go, go. Go, T. Good. Nice. So the pièce de résistance is the match simulation. You'll notice here that Bo McCreary starts in the middle, and throughout this whole match sim, Bo McCreary was starting in the middle every single time. I know it's a little bit different because they're experimenting a little bit, so I don't know how much you sort of read into it. But Bo was starting in the middle every single time, and like I've been saying, I don't want him to be a permanent midfielder at all by any means. I still want his defensive pressure off that half forward. But pushing into the middle and using his speed and using his tackling would be it's just great to see, and I'm glad we got to see a little bit of that in match sim. Here as well, you see Nick Dacos just hitting top speed. Again, he fluffs the kick here. Will Parker does a good job at defending this. But it looks like his plantar fasciitis is all gone, right? He'll play opening round. He'll play the practice matches. Might be limited minutes in the practice matches, but he was hitting top speed and hitting it well and dodging and weaving and doing everything Nick Dacos does.
The other one, no,
Be nice.
Another guy that impressed me during match simulation was Charlie Dean. You can kind of just see him right there in the black. I didn't get a lot of footage of him when he was taking marks and kicking goals. You'll see one a little bit further down on in this video, but he was showing he looks ready to go. Not ready to go as in he'll play opening round AFL, but he looks ready to go as in he's big. He knows where the ball is. He knows how to get to the ball in that forward line, and it's finally nice to see a young forward command a forward line. We just haven't had that for so long. So I was wrapped with his super quick development as well, and seeing that. This little bit here coming up, this kick into the forward line, this is something that we can get a little bit better at. It's Membry and McStay. No one sort of calls for it. Bang, turnover, and then the black team have it. So the opposition come out of the forward 50 really easily. So that's just a little bit of talk there, but Markov does a really good job of spoiling Nick and just absolutely putting that out of line, because that could have been, dangerous had it been in game. Towards the end, it was just this was like a Ruck rover mini game. Whoever could sort of get their hand on the ball and kick it into the 50, they scored a point, and then the players would be cheering on the sideline. So it was nice to see, like I said from the start of the video, it was nice to see a mixture of players in places that they never sort of see them, like Ash Johnson in the middle, Will Parker in the middle, Dan McStay taking Ruck against Myercheck. Against Ash Johnson. But then there's another instance where Myercheck is taking the Ruck. So it was nice to see just a little bit of a change up, a little bit of fun, and it was just, Craig McRae loves chameleon players that can play 2 or 3 roles. I think that's what they were trying to see. How can they go in these roles if we actually need them? But that was pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next training session is Friday at 9:30. Be sure to get the pre-orders in for my hats. I've got some t-shirts. They should be arriving by the end of the week. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. I'll see you later.